What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we're talking Daredevil Born Again Season 1 finale, Straight to Hell. That's the title of the episode, nothing else. I'm not telling anyone to do something. And a Fantastic Four First Steps trailer dropped today. So we're going to take a look at that and see what we can see in it or not, whatever's happening. But before we get into all of that fun, Dave, how's it going tonight, sir?
Well, Keith, I gotta say, I'm fan-freaking-tastic. I was so happy with this finale. I mean, to me, it's kind of like a Empire Strikes Back type of finale. So much is still out there, and the bad guy won. So, well, no spoilers, I guess, not yet. We'll get to that in a moment. How are you doing tonight?
Well, Dave, I'm tremendous. Thoroughly enjoyed the season finale. One little gripe, but it's not a big gripe. But definitely enjoyed it. I mean, anytime we get, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, John Barenthal, what's her name, who plays Heather, or Karen Page, why can't I think of it? Karen.
Maul. Her last name's Maul, Moll.
Yeah. Deborah Ann Wall.
Deborah, yeah.
I couldn't think of her name there for a minute. But yeah, all fantastic. We got the Fantastic Four trailer. Unbeknownst to me, it was dropping today, and it dropped today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know you're not the biggest Fantastic Four fan, but
I didn't even get a chance to see it, so it'll be brand new.
It'll be first time. Nice. We'll get Dave's initial reaction to the Fantastic Four trailer. A little busy today, and Doug, unfortunately, is not with us again tonight. He is off getting everything prepared for Phase 7 of the MCU with Dave's buddy Kevin Feige. He had some questions for Doug. Doug's just getting everything ready to go. So, without further ado, should we talk Daredevil Born Again?
Do it.
Do
it now.
We start off a year earlier with Vanessa visiting Dex in a mental hospital, where she basically says, I need you to kill Foggy Nelson. I'll get you out of prison, but you got to kill Foggy. Because he's working on a case that's going to expose her activities in Red Hook. And in exchange for having his old life back, basically. But basically being a killer for hire. And all I got to say, that scene showed that Vanessa has absolutely no soul whatsoever. That man was obviously unwell. And she went through her plan of manipulating him all the same. She really turned into probably the main villain of season 1.
Well, until later in the episode, but
there's a couple main villains.
There, yeah, he was in really bad shape, just sweating, sitting up. Kind of felt bad for him watching that scene, and let's not leave him out. As every scene he's in, he steals the scene. I think he was really intense in Daredevil season 3. I think he probably made that season like 25% better. Just his character and the development they went through and his acting, great. Yeah, and he looked like he was in bad shape, and he would do anything for anybody at that point. She's keeping his medicine from him. I'll get you out. What's he gonna say in that condition?
And I love it because, in the comics, Bullseye is pretty crazy. And they are not just making him crazy off the bat. They're showing us how he's going to get to that point. Probably a little bit more in season 2 and then hopefully further down the line, because I hope we see a lot. Wilson is tremendous at playing him, and I hope we see Bullseye. I hope he's like in the comics where he just keeps coming back. Daredevil may stop him, but he's never killed or captured. Or if he's captured, he gets out, and we just keep seeing him. And he shows up everywhere and anywhere because, like a lot of the other castings in Marvel, he is the perfect Bullseye.
Yeah, and you mean he's not going to play him like Colin Farrell and immediately show that side of himself?
A little better writing for this than the Daredevil movie. Sorry, Tundra Walker. I know I promised I would watch the director's cut of Daredevil 2003, and I will. Thankfully, I never gave you a time frame for when I would. So eventually that will happen. But, then we see come back to the present. We see, Dex Bullseye escapes the ball. Murdoch is hospitalized, and Wilson Fisk cuts off basically starts taking complete control of the city. He cuts off the power to the city. He sends Cashman to kill Matt at the hospital. And of course, Murdoch escapes because he's Daredevil. He senses, someone coming after him, and the dark doesn't bother him for known reasons.
Gave him an advantage, yeah. And that's that kind of shocked me. I was gonna say this for my synopsis, but that kind of shocked me because I really did think, because the way Wilson Fisk has been so far on all every season, Daredevil and this season, it's like he might feel a certain way overall, but he does, like, when somebody does something for him, he appreciates it. He's deeper than that. And so when Matt took the bullet, I thought he was going to back off and be a little bit more, well, he saved me. I got to appreciate him for that. No, he went the other way, man. If he just so happens to die from his wounds, he can still be a hero and, not have to be killed by my vigilante squad.
Yeah. He sees that. He's like, yeah, you know what? He's back to Daredevil. So if he just dies from his wounds, it'll be better for, his legacy and, his, people's remembrance of him than if he dies at the hands of my anti-vigilante squad, which probably a spoiler for season 2. I don't think he's going to die at the hands of them, but we'll see. We'll see. But Matt gets back to his apartment, and who's waiting for him but good old Frank Castle? And I just love the interactions between Matt and Frank. They do not make them buddies. They're like, we kind of have a common goal, so we'll kind of work together. But I don't like your methods, and you don't like my methods. But you know what? And especially because Karen Page called him. So, of course, he was going to help.
But in that way, in the way that they don't get along at all, they don't do anything, they kind of are buddies, opposite, polar opposites or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're not scaring each other off. It's clear he doesn't. I had to look it up after because there was a few hits in there during the fight scenes with Matt that I thought he killed that guy. I forget the guy's name. The head of the task force. Huh?
Cole North.
Is that
the guy with the Punisher? Yeah.
Yeah, and he hits him with the nunchucks, and just blood goes everywhere. And he's like, "Oh, this." I'm like, "Did he just kill him? Did he kill that guy?" No, but Matt doesn't kill. But I had to think because he was being really brutal. But that's his whole thing: being brutal, but not ending your life.
Yes, and he knows with his radar senses, he knows exactly how to hit him to probably inflict a lot of pain and damage, but not kill him. He's not merciful. Well, he's merciful in a way that he keeps him alive, but he wants them to remember what happens when you do bad, and he definitely did. But we just see it's I love to. I mean, John Barenthal is just tremendous as a Punisher, but when he's like complaining to Matt about you took a bullet for him, how could you do that? I'm gonna stick a bullet in his fat head if I see him, and if he tries to stop me. And then when he gets in front of Cole to stop the Punisher from killing him, he's like, "You gonna take a bullet for this scumbag too?" And he's just, very. Both have their ideologies, and both ideologies are written well for each character. It's not like they make either one to be more right or wrong in the situation. You're gonna agree with whoever one you kind of agree with. They don't tone down either ideology, and that's what great writing does in a series. They can have conflicting ideas and write them both to be good, and that's what this does. I loved it, man. It was great.
Yeah, you don't have to water down either character. It's great.
And we do find out that Cole North was the one who killed Hector Ayala.
Yes.
That was a nice little reveal. I'm sure if his daughter or his niece finds out when she dons the White Tiger persona, maybe coming in season 2, but we'll get to that in a little bit. they escape the apartment. Karen Page picks them up. Murdoch and or Matt and Karen kind of reconnect while they track down Foggy's case. Matt's like, he was celebrating something. There's something. He wrote a thing. We have to find it. And she's like, why don't we go to a storage area? And he's like, oh my God, how did I not think of this? Of course.
Right.
It was almost a plot hole, but the way they had it played off, I liked it. I'm like, yeah, okay. We all forget things. Not us, but I hear other people, will sometimes forget things like that. So it was a nice little thing. And his little comment to her about, I heard both your heartbeats.
Yeah.
That's been a thing that's been kind of an undercurrent between Karen and Frank since Frank came on Daredevil's show. And it's great. They're not rushing it. They're not doing, kind of getting it too far. They both are the way they are, but they both have these feelings for each other. And it was great just the way I heard your heartbeats. Oh, yeah? It could have been adrenaline, I guess. He knows what it is.
It's like, I heard your heartbeat when you saw me, too. Because that was probably just adrenaline, too.
Giddy up. Giddy up. And
but I like how they're, like when she drove up, when she found him, the apartment had just blown up and 2 injured guys walking down the street, just limping down the street. I thought that was pretty funny. Cracked me up.
And unfortunately, neither Frank or Daredevil got the Black Widow serum. So, they could fall, 3 stories and it's a different movie. Sorry, never mind.
Superhero.
But, they basically find out that the Fists are trying to establish a city-state in Red Hook because it is a free port. So, they're running goods through there. It should have to go through customs, but they're running stuff in and out of there, possibly making millions. And with the project, as Wilson says, we'll be making billions. And obviously it makes sense why she would want to kill Foggy, because if that information got out, that would put a major crimping on their criminal empire. And that's what criminals do. You're going to put an end to their criminal empire, they're probably going to hire someone to kill you. That's kind of how things go.
Yeah. Yeah, we're about to get to the part where she isn't the reason she isn't the villain in this series, to me anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, the best thing is Frank, being a smart guy, takes one of the radios off the anti-vigilante guys. So Karen and Daredevil kind of figure out, oh, we got to go to Red Hook to see what they're doing there. And Frank hears them mobilizing there. So he decides to go there. And unfortunately, Fisk is there with the
task force.
The task force and the commissioner, the police commissioner, who had got recorded on tape by his advisor.
Yeah.
Basically saying he's going to go to Albany and turn in Fisk and all that he's doing. And instead of joining him, like she kind of, I don't want to say she's a coward, but, just saying, oh yeah, I'll go along with you, just to kind of put him at ease so she could turn him into the Kingpin. Because even though I don't believe she's fully behind all of these things, she's worried about her own life.
Yeah.
And so she does kind of the coward move and turns him into Kingpin. And he, and yes, I'm calling him the Kingpin now instead of Wilson Fisk, because how he handles the situation with Gallo was a bit brutal. We heard there was going to be a scene that was very brutal and had never been done in a Daredevil episode before. They weren't lying. That was, Dave, like you were talking earlier, he didn't just like crush his skull. He was like putting pressure on it for a bit, and you could kind of hear it kind of crushing, and then he just kind of breaks his jaw off, and it lingers there for a minute till he collapses to the ground. I was a little shocked at how absolutely brutal that scene was. They're not holding back.
Yeah, that definitely brutal. when he started squeezing his head, the one thing for me, I can see a lot of violence in movies and stuff like that, but the one thing that always bothers me is not like a if somebody gets a shot to the head, that doesn't bother me, but something like what we're seeing there, that normally gets under my skin and just makes me cringe. It's hard to watch, but they he always goes for the head. He take season one when he's slamming that guy's head in the door until it comes off. That's what he's gonna do. And you see how the people reacted around him. Some may say like, "Whoa, he went too far." I think that this what we were seeing in their eyes was, "Oh crap, he better not do that to me." I'm, you
I think
know,
there was a lot of that, like, oh wow, he is. If some of them didn't believe he was the kingpin prior to that scene, I think they fully understand what he's capable of now and what he honestly is. And they're going to probably follow him because they don't want to be on the receiving end of that treatment.
yeah, scared him crooked. But it as far as it being the most gruesome episode, or as far as like blood and guts, yeah, a lot of that was Frank. Frank be punishing. They say in the comics, who do you think has killed the most people? And whoever it is you're thinking, you'd be wrong because Frank Castle has killed the most people in the comics.
I can
I mean,
believe
I
that.
guess not on a galactic level, but on a grounded level.
Yeah, Galactus has probably killed more people devouring planets, but he's not killing each person individually like Frank is. He's, but I love the scene too with Powell where he's like, we want to give you a chance, join us, and he's like, it was exactly how it played out in the comics. The only thing different in the comics, when he's like telling him, you don't want to be me, you don't know what I've gone through, you don't understand what I am, you guys are clowns. He says, if you want to, look up to somebody, look up to Captain America. I wanted him to say that in this so bad. Like, you want
Yeah,
someone to look up to Captain America. Because Frank has always thought Captain America was the greatest hero because of how he is. And he won't, he steps in when protects the little guy, does all the things that a hero should do. Frank understands that. That's just not him. And I was hoping
yep,
he would say that, but he didn't. But he got the point across. Like, don't emulate me. I'm not with you guys. You guys are absolute clowns. And
yeah.
if I get out of here, when I get out of here, it's going to be a bloody, bloody day for you all. And I would not want to be one of those guys right now.
I read today that the reason they made that scene was because a lot of people forgot like um, the original purpose, just like he was trying to portray in that scene. You don't know what I stand for, but you're out here wearing my gear. Well, he said this article said that like they wanted to make sure everyone knew that it's not just the Punisher's like let's go kill people, you know let's kill the bad people. Let's give more of a backstory to it. He's not just out there killing people. He was I'd say he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy, but would he be an anti-hero? I don't
He's
know.
definitely an anti-hero. Yeah, he's like Dexter in the sense that he doesn't kill people indiscriminately. He will protect innocence. He kills the bad people.
Right.
And
And
they
that
say if you kill one person, the same amount of murderers are in the world. But I guess when you're one person and you murder thousands, that number is decreasing. So
yeah.
he's doing some good in the world. He's doing some good.
Hey, we got a comment.
Let's see. I noticed some
All right.
folks expecting Disney Plus to create groundbreaking shows like Netflix, HBO, Prime Video, Disney, still catering to families, even with Hulu and live sports combined on their service. I don't know. I definitely will not let my son watch Daredevil Born Again until he's older. So they are creating family content. Disney will always create family content, but they are making adult content too. So,
Yeah,
they're
if you saw this, it's definitely not something you let your kid watch on this last scene we were talking about.
yeah,
Even
yeah. And then after all this happens, the
the
Fisk
crimson.
basically declares martial law, outlaws vigilantism, tells everybody actually before that, we see Karen and Daredevil show up to Red Hook, and intelligently, Karen talks him out of going in there because there's just too many of them. It would be a death sentence, and as much as he wants to go in and stop all this, for one, he didn't know Frank was captured. Because I think if he knew Frank was captured, he would have went in there no matter what. He would have tried to sneak in and get him out. He had no idea he was captured. So Karen said, you know what? Live to fight another day. And he agreed. We need an army.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, they were playing the Spider-Man theme for a moment.
No,
when he said
notice,
that.
But that did get me pumped up when he said we need an army. I'm like, that's what season 2 is, baby. I did not notice. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that for the Spider-Man theme.
I know Spider-Man cannot come on TV shows, but this might mean that maybe Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to have some Daredevil in it. Teaming up, fighting some anti-vigilante stuff. You know, it doesn't have to be the overall story. I hope it is. I hope the entire thing is Daredevil and Spider-Man, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, White Tiger. If, the niece takes over the role, a new Iron Fist. Sorry, Carrie. You know, all of those guys. Anyone else, people I'm probably missing, but all of those guys fighting against Mayor Kingpin. That would be a movie I would want to watch. And season 2 could lead up to all of that, which would be fantastic. But, just hearing getting an army together got me pumped also. Do you think Andor or Agatha all along will get Emmy nominations at this year's telecast? Well, I haven't seen Andor season 2 yet. If it's as good as season 1, I would expect it to. And I think Agatha will get some nominations. I enjoyed it much more than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be very much just kind of pandering to the Agatha All Along song and trying to capitalize on that. But I thought they did a good job with it. And there was some great acting in it. Some all-around good stuff. So I think they'll both, as long as Andor is as good as season 1, I think they'll both get Emmy nominations.
Yeah, I think Andor, hell yeah, but I think I'm not in the same bus with you on Agatha. I think it was an incredibly average show, so I don't think it'll get anything. But I guess it picked up in popularity week to week, so I could be out here on my own island.
Yeah, and that's I would rather you be honest, say it's average, and be wrong. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I can agree with.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, people. Nobody's wrong with their opinion, unless you love Zack Snyder. No, I'm kidding. It's fine if you joking.
We
and
just
then
have questions.
yeah. And then I don't know if you noticed this. The swordsman was imprisoned.
Yeah.
In Red Hook, he was in one of those cages. I was kind of shocked to see that because it seemed like he was willing to go along with, at least give money to Fisk's plan. So he might be a part of that army next season too. We may see some more swordsmen. I'm all for that.
Well, he never said that he would actually pledge the money. That's probably why he's in there, I would imagine. Because when he left, he said, "I'll expect your donation by 9 a.m." He probably didn't give it to him, and that's why he's in there.
I thought for sure he would. And then, I saw that, and I'm like, not that I'm ever wrong, but I was like, oh, I'm wrong. I guess he didn't. Good for him. So I wonder, we saw Frank, outlaws vigilantes. He puts a curfew, martial laws in New York because an attempt was made on my life by a vigilante. And, he's trying to, take complete control over the city, make Red Hook a little city-state where he can fund all this money through. And like you said earlier, it was a very Empire Strikes Back ending. The bad guy won for now. He's on top. He's doing what he wants to do. But I think the mid-credits scene might put a little hamper into his celebration because charming as ever Frank Castle is talking to one of the anti-vigilante, goons. And he eventually, he's talking him up, playing to his ego, like, oh, it's nice to meet you, and come over here, and then just basically breaks his arm inside the cage, takes the keys, and frees himself. Hopefully, he'll free the swordsman too. But it was nice to see that Frank didn't need anybody to get him out of there. He
Yeah.
can take care of himself. Sometimes you need help. We all need help from our friends occasionally. But as much as I was like, oh, I wanted Daredevil to go in there and see that he was captured to free him, he didn't need the help.
And he didn't need somebody like Captain America to show up. No, but I wonder what's coming out next for Frank. Is it going to be as special, or is it going to be season two?
I think season 2 is going to come out before the special, only because season 2 is filming right now for Daredevil Born Again. They've written the Punisher special presentation, but it hasn't started filming yet. So I definitely think it's coming out post season Daredevil Born Again season 2. And let's see, Kevin Davis says Marvel Studios showing a lot of confidence in Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four First Steps. Nobody expecting these films to make $1 billion. I don't think Thunderbolts will make $1 billion. I think it'll do really well because they're showing free screenings to the public early. They're dropping the social embargo early. Like, they are doing a lot of things that they haven't been doing for other movies. When the social embargo is lifting a full week before the movie comes out, other films that they weren't as confident in, it was like a day or two before.
Yeah.
I think word of mouth is going to do well for the Thunderbolts. I don't think it'll make $1 billion. I think it could easily make 500, 600, 700,000. Easily. I don't think it'll hit $1 billion though.
I've seen other channels and people saying that this movie's going to flop. I don't know why they would say that. Everything I've seen looks like a great movie. So I don't know what they're talking about.
And it does seem like Marvel's very confident in it with some of the things they're doing. Now, does it have the characters that's going to get everyone fired up? Probably not. But if word of mouth spreads and everyone says, hey, it's a great movie, you should go check it out, people will check it out. There's enough, Yelena's in it. Obviously, we got, U.S. Agent, who, if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you know who he is. But you got Bucky. You got Red Guardian. You got these guys that I think are going to do well together. Now for the Fantastic Four First Steps. I think it may very well make $1 billion. If it's good. Everything seems to be pointing to a very entertaining, good movie. And with some of the things we heard, it's funny because sometimes a post-credit scene can help make a movie make a lot of money. And we've heard that Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom may show up in a post-credit scene. Nothing has been confirmed yet. And that Chris Evans could show up as, Hydra Cap along with Dr. Doom. So those are two rumors going around. If I think they have a mind-blowing post-credit scene like that leading into Doomsday or something along those lines, I think Fantastic Four will easily make $1 billion. Just because of those characters, Galactus being there, there's a lot going on, so I'm hoping. But let's get back to Daredevil. To me, it was funny. When I watched it, I don't want to say I was a little bit let down, but it didn't feel like a season finale to me. It felt like the end of part 1. And when this first all came out, when they announced Daredevil Born Again, they said it's going to be 2 parts. Part 1 will be 9 episodes and part 2 will be 9 episodes. So this is kind of, after I thought about that, I'm like, okay, I still would have loved to have seen Matt going and just beating the crap out of as many guys as they possibly can. But I think the way they ended it with Kingpin on top, him knowing, especially injured, him going in there is going to do nothing except get him killed or, critically injured or something along those lines. So you know what? They're going to recruit people, and we'll see how that plays out next season. So I'm fired up.
No, I am too. Who do you think I was just thinking about this, who the army he's going to bring is. And I think anybody who's been on a Marvel show is fair game.
Yeah.
Like Kate Bishop. I don't know about Yelena. She's probably too much. She's already doing the Thunderbolts.
Well, we'll see what happens on the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Because she's in New York. So She could be in it. Kate Bishop, was she at the end of the Marvels, was she in New York or was she in San Francisco?
Was in San Francisco.
So maybe not
But
Kate Bishop, but she could come back.
he
True.
did come back because the swordsman is in jail. So
Yes.
that could put her back.
Oh yeah, maybe her mom calls her and says, "Hey, he's missing. No one knows where he is." It's weird that they would lock people up without due process. And
Strange.
so, yeah,
Didn't
I
think
didn't think
about
about that. You're right. Kate's mom may call her and say, like, he's missing. Can you come do your private detective work to try to find him? And maybe she hooks up with Daredevil that way and his team. Echo.
Yeah, Echo. That's
They
another
show
one I
up.
was thinking.
I would love for Spider-Man, but I also don't think we've heard that he cannot show up on a TV show because of the Sony rights thing. But maybe it comes into play in Spider-Man, Brand New Day. I hope. But we'll wait to hear more about that. I mean, we got Luke Cage, we got Danny Rand, we got Shang-Chi. I mean, a lot of these street level guys could
Yeah.
show up, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't see any objection to Shang-Chi. I didn't even think of him, but I mean, they just announced his second movie, and this would be a great way to hype it up. Plus, if they're going to need an army, they're going to need a lot of people.
Yep.
An army is a lot of people.
Now, of course, Shang-Chi with the rings might be a little too powerful, so they may not have him on there. But I mean, the Falcon,
He left the
Captain
rings.
America. I would love for Anthony Mackie to show up there. Here's one that you're gonna cringe at, so don't. Keep a straight face. She-Hulk, and I say that because during, oh my God, I can't the Gangland War from Amazing Spider-Man last year. She was part of the team that Spider-Man put together. We could see Elektra. Maybe Elektra comes back to help Matt. We didn't see her this first season. So, I mean, there's a
thinking
lot.
Bullseye might be on his side. Even though they wouldn't interact with each other, they'd be working at the same thing, I think. That's going to be part of the story.
He may not be a part of Matt's team, but he could be working
Right.
against Kingpin too. I agree.
Yeah.
Or Kingpin's
That's
going to
not
get to him and be like, I need you to kill Matt Murdock. And he'll be like, yeah, for the price is right. He may be going off the edge there, especially if he's not on his meds. And he may just
Right.
be full-on mercenary Bullseye at that point. Heck, we could
No
see
matter
U.S.
how-
Agent.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's another guy. Because he was from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Maybe I can't even do it with a straight face. We can get Daenerys from Special Investigation.
Are you talking about Gaia?
Yeah,
Yes.
Gaia.
Oh, man.
yes.
Kingpin would stand a chance. She's the most powerful being in the universe. She would just wipe
Yeah.
him out. But yeah, this is a good opportunity to have excellent street level crossover event. And man, I hope we see it. I think this series has been really good, great even at times, and I think they've got a real opportunity to do something amazing. Oh
Why
yeah.
don't you go ahead, continue, and give it your rating?
Oh, I certainly
'Cause
will.
you synopsisizing for a moment. So
Yes,
go ahead and rate.
we did. We walked through the entire plot of this final episode, and I really enjoyed it. My one thing is it did kind of feel like the end of part one and not a season finale, but I'm not going to hold it against that because everything was so well laid out in this, even covering up the little plot holes with Matt like beating himself up because he forgot about the storage with all the foggy stuff, and Karen had to remind him. But everything else was just tremendously well done, in my opinion. All the acting was great. All of the sound, like the soundtrack, fit really well into all this was going on. And just the way it went through, the pacing of this episode, I thought was its best of any other in the season. It's like it was quick paced, but man, it was so well done. Trying to kill Matt escaping, and him being injured. I was worried they were going to have him do too much after being shot last episode. But you could see him when he's fighting guys he could take out easily. He was struggling a little bit with, and when he was done, he's like, you could see that he was wincing in pain and doing all that. him trying to stop Frank from killing people, and Frank just reading him the riot act over it. And then Karen kind of saving them and finding out she was the one who called Frank to protect him because she had heard what happened. Obviously, it's all over the news that this local Hell's Kitchen lawyer took a bullet for Mayor Fisk. And just seeing the anti-vigilante task force growing in power, you know, Kingpin killing the commissioner, everything just worked together so well. It was seamless going from scene to scene and just built up something that if it pays out in next season, it's going to be epic in scale. And I hope it is. I hope I'm not overselling it. And I hope they're not like right now, like, okay, the army's going to be Karen Page, Cherry, the bartender from, the bar, and a few other dudes. Yeah, no one else that has superpowers. Even Frank's not coming back. That would be a big letdown. But they have an opportunity to make a street-level crossover event on Disney Plus, which hopefully 100% will be better than Defenders on Netflix. So I'm hoping. I enjoyed this episode immensely. I'm going to give it an 8.7. And I think overall for the entire first season, I'm going to give it an 8.9. I mean, I need to rewatch it, but even the filler episode I thought was extremely well done. So I'm looking forward to rewatch, and I cannot wait for season 2. How about you, Dave?
Oh, absolutely. This episode was probably the best of the season. I heard going into it that it was going to be very gruesome. And definitely the Punisher be punishing. He did what the Punisher does, and Matt did what Matt does. Everybody did what they do, and they did it excellent. That one, I probably won't rewatch that one scene because it does still give me the heebie-jeebies.
You're going to do what my wife does and go, tell me when it's over.
Yeah, when the cracking's done, I'll look. But no, that guy's gonna be fine. He's gonna sit up, and just gonna, put it back on and keep going. You know what I mean?
So he looks like the Crypt Keeper now. He's fine.
It's okay. He can keep his job. See, and that was like, why did he make him keep his job? I mean, he tried to resign, and then just so he could kill him later. He knew he was gonna, he knew that at some point he was gonna cross him. Which, that's very Kingpin of him. Very Kingpin of him to do all that. And Keith's right. Everything worked in this episode. But he's also right about, I felt like I can't give it a 9 because there was just something missing. And it, if it's what Keith described as we feel it was end of part 1, that's fine. But it's just not season finale type stuff. So this episode, I'm going to give it an 8 because, I guess I'm kind of marking it down a little bit because of head crushing because it did bother me. But I liked everything. I liked Frank letting the people follow him know that they are not following him for the right reasons. They are not, they are not what he would feel like. So, yeah, I liked having Frank on the show. It really, I think it added something, and without taking away from Daredevil on its own. For the whole season, overall, I think I'm going to stick with that too. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm trying not to, pass out too many 9s and 10s these days, because I got to reserve those for like the end game type stuff.
And Andor.
And Andor, definitely. I'm sure that'll get I think I gave it a 9.9 last year. So I'm going to give this an 8. You can't get much better, but at the same time, you can just a little bit, and that would raise it up to like a 9.
Well, and honestly, the way I'm looking at it now is, if part 2 or season 2, whatever they're going to call it, lands what they set up in part 1, it'll easily be a 9.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It was just, we got a comment from a Doog McClain. It says, ew, 2 boomers talking about superhero shows. Sir, we are Gen Xers. We are not boomers. But Doug, hope everything's good. Glad you're watching.
Rating if you've seen the show.
Yeah, let us know. Anyone out there, if you've watched Daredevil Born Again, the season finale, if you're watching us, I hope you have, because we pretty much spoiled everything that happened in the show. Let us know what you thought for, episode 9, Straight to Hell, and the entire season. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Obviously, Dave and I really enjoyed it. Thought it was excellent. Looking forward to season 2, and glad, so happy it's filming now, so we get it in 2026. We don't have to wait 3 years for that to pan out. So,
boys,
and honestly, think about the timing. We talked about the Spider-Man theme playing a little bit when he said he needed an army. Season 2 could line up right into Spider-Man Brand New Day.
That would be fantastic if the season ended and the next week that movie came out and the story flowed. That'd be amazing.
I would be flipping tables over everywhere I went. I would be so happy. And that, you talk about an Endgame type crossover or something like that. Having a group of street level vigilantes taking on Mayor Kingpin, and hopefully gets to the movie side, Kingpin will be recruiting some street level villains like he did in the comics to be he called them the Thunderbolts. It'll be his anti-vigilante task force. They will join that. So we could see more than just, these heroes versus the Kingpin in this. We may get some other villains involved. And God, I hope that's true.
The Green Goblin. No, was asking too much.
Probably, yes. But
bring back Willem Dafoe.
I would. William Dafoe, yes. Did you say it wrong? Sounded like you said it wrong there. You said like Willem, like you purposely said it incorrectly. I don't know why you do that, Dave. William Dafoe.
You're right. I'm so wrong. I'm so sorry, folks.
Thank you. You're a big man. I appreciate that. But like I said, anyone in the chat want to tell us what you rated? We would love to hear it. But we do have something else that dropped today. Unexpectedly dropped today. And that is the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer. We got the teaser trailer a little while ago, and now we got the full trailer. And I have watched it. Dave has not. I've watched it a few times because I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan. I know Dave isn't quite as enamored with them. I do think I'm going to have to buy him the John Byrne Visionary Fantastic Four graphic novels for him to read, and then maybe he will, be a bigger fan. I think Byrne's run on the Fantastic Four is one of the best. Hickman's run is great. Mark Waid's run is great. There's a lot of great runs, but I think Byrne pretty much cemented them to me as one of the best teams in Marvel Comics. But without further ado, are you ready to watch the trailer, sir?
Yes, I am. I'm going to turn it up over here.
All right.
Wow, folks, we all know the story. 4 brave astronauts head up into space and come back forever changed.
This car.
I just want to say the fact that this movie is coming out the same month as a Superman movie, and they have The Thing lifting up a car, which is almost the exact same car that Superman lifts on the cover of Action Comics #1, I thought was awesome. I thought a nice little homage to another superhero movie coming out, another superhero. Seeing it, I mean, it's almost the exact same car. At least I'm pretty sure it is. And, kids, of course, they want to see The Thing lift a car. So that was so cool. I loved it.
Our city, our planet, owe a debt to these intrepid souls. And while we can never repay them, we can certainly celebrate them.
Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you.
Thank you, Fantastic Four.
Please welcome the Fantastic Four.
And it's nice seeing that they are, you know, we've gotten so much anti sort of hero. You know, we got it in season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. You know, a lot of anti-hero sort of sentiment around all of the comic book shows. It's been kind of like, you guys bring this destruction. It is nice seeing people loving their superhero team like that. Now, that may change after, you know, a few things that's going to happen in the movie, but the fact that they're all celebrating them and stuff, it's a nice little change. I love the way this all looks.
And they are the only superheroes in their timeline.
That is what we've heard. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but that is something. They are the only heroes in this universe, or for this planet,
By the way,
I should say.
The only difference with that the car he picked up in the video, the car is white. Action Comics is green.
Okay.
But it's like a Volkswagen Bug though.
Yep.
Looks like it.
Herbie, how's that sauce looking? Okay. That's fantastic.
You're late.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? You're late for dinner.
Yes, we are.
You late?
I just said that.
Are you pregnant?
What? You're gonna be the best mom in the world. And you are gonna be the best dad. Just kidding. You are out of your depth. We're gonna be the best uncles ever.
We can do this.
I love that. Johnny Storm being Johnny Storm. Oh, you're going to be the best. You're out of your league. But we're going to be great uncles. And, you know, that is what the Fantastic Four has always been. They're family, but they bicker back and forth. And, you know, they kind of get angry with each other. It's not all, you know, they got each other's backs to the end. But they do kind of tease each other and bicker and do all that stuff. And, you know, it looks like it's coming through in this movie, much more than it has in any of the other iterations of the Fantastic Four. That is live action, I should say.
It seems like just in a few extended scenes from the first trailer that we saw, which is good, which is fine.
And, you know, they had released that scene, part of that scene where Johnny Storm says, "You're late." And they're like, what? And he's like, "You're late for dinner. Why aren't you here?" When I first saw that, I was like, oh, she's pregnant there. But Johnny missed it. And then, of course, they show Ben figures it out. But, you know, that's a nice way to show. We got Franklin Richards coming in this movie, and that's a good thing. You know, he is an Omega level mutant. So I don't know if they're going to talk about that in any way. We do know that the next phase, Fantastic Four, kicks off Phase 6. Phase 7 is going to be the Mutant Saga. So he may play a role in that somehow. He has been in X-Men comics and was invited to Krakoa, you know, during all of that run. So we'll see how it plays out. But happy to see that Franklin is coming.
This. Nothing is going to change.
Of course, I just have to say, of course, we can do this. Nothing is going to change. And everything is about to change. Never say those lines in a movie, because you know that, you know, all heck is going to break out right after that. So, and we see it here.
Are you the protectors of this world?
Yes, we are.
Your planet is now marked for death.
It's my fault.
What were you saying, Dave?
Silver Surfer, the actress, she didn't even sound like herself.
Yeah, Julia Garner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a great scene. You know, of course, you know, they're like, yeah, we're the protectors of the world. And Johnny, the hothead, no pun intended, you know, flying up to try to take her on himself. And, of course, it's utterly demolished by him. And then you kind of hear, you know, Reed saying, "This is all my fault." And he kind of goes into that here.
I stretched the bounds of space. And they hurt.
Are we safe?
I don't know.
Oh, blackout.
Yeah, we see, I like seeing that. Reed isn't going to sugarcoat this. Are we safe? I don't know. He's a little too smart to be like, yeah, of course. Everything's fine. Some giant guy coming to eat the planet. Some silver-clad herald telling us we've been marked for death. It's fine. It's all fine here with the fire all around him. But
That's
I did
right.
like
When they tell you just to calm down, it's time to get worried.
Yep. And, the same thing happened. I talked about this on the first trailer. When Galactus first came to Earth in the Fantastic Four cartoon from the 90s, the Watcher made it look like there was a giant meteor storm kind of coming to Earth, so that when Silver Surfer kind of was investigating, he would think it's a dead and barren planet and wouldn't bring Galactus there. And I don't know if that's what's happening here or if that is the Silver Surfer just kind of bringing that all with her. So it'd be a little nice to see the Watcher kind of intervening into all of this, like the Watcher did in the cartoon show. It'd be a nice little homage to the old cartoon.
Being played by the same person?
It probably would be, yes, but we don't know the Watcher's in this yet.
There's not enough time.
I'm not giving up. We will face this together. We will fight it together. As a family.
We saw a lot there. We saw a little bit more of the Silver Surfer flying around. We saw the Thing pulling a boat by the giant chain. So it does look like we're going to see the Fantastic Four kind of doing heroic things all throughout this. And much like the Superman trailer, we see a little girl going to, collect her Thing doll, and it looks like she's about to be crushed. I've got a spoiler alert. She's not going to be crushed in this. Someone will save her. I know. Sorry if I'm ruining it for you guys.
I don't know. I didn't see that coming.
Has to be us.
And I don't know if you can see this with Reed stretching right there. It looks like Galactus is the one knocking down the building. If you look to the left, it looks like a little purple thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's Galactus, but it's a little too hard to tell in this. I kind of noticed that when I was going through the trailer a couple times today.
It kind of looks like the Dark World.
Yeah.
We will protect you.
And love seeing Galactus walk through the city like that. That was just great. For whatever reason, he's not going to just be able to devour the planet, without a little people against him. He's not just going to be able to walk in and devour it. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays off. There's been times in the comics where he is basically starving, so he's not at full power. And that's how they're able to kind of fight him off. So that may be what's going on here too. He, maybe really needs the energy of the planet. He's low, so that's why they're able to fight him off, and that's why he comes down to the surface. Because normally he would just stay in his ship while the Herald builds his, the machine to devour the energies. So it'll be looking forward to seeing how they play all this. But it does seem like he's definitely going to be on the ground. And I remember in one of the comics, his giant eye is peeking in the Freedom's 4 Plaza. So maybe we'll even get that scene there.
Now, was it your theory that in the end, Galactus is going to win and they're going to be bounced with that incursion into another multiverse?
I think so. I do think that, we kind of see Reed Richards sort of his multi-dimensional bridge is written on that one chalkboard that we saw in the first trailer. So I think he's going to understand multidimensional, traveling. And I think they're going to lose at the end of this, and he's going to have to take his family and go somewhere else. And that's going to be, tough for him to deal with. But we could be wrong. But if, in Galactus, in some of the comic runs, he travels through the multiverse too, devouring stuff. He's not just set in one universe. So he may devour Earth and Fantastic Four leave, and Galactus follows him. So they may not only lose to Galactus and get that Earth destroyed, but they may bring them into the 616 if that's where they come. And I think that would be a tough thing for Reed to deal with, because he's definitely going to blame himself if they do travel the multiverse and bring Galactus with them.
Now, God, I hate it when I have a thought in the middle of your sentence and I want to hang on and I forget it by the time you're done. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'd feel really guilty too, because that whole world, wherever they left behind, whatever universe they're in, all those people are going to die.
Yeah. He's going to feel terrible about it all. And now I don't know if you noticed it. I tried to find it and stop it on it, but it was a quick scene. There is a west view. What is it? Hold on. I got a screenshot of it. Let me pull up my screenshot so I say this correctly. I should have put it into the what's it called today, but I forgot. So there is a Westview appliance store. Obviously, Matt Shankman, who directed WandaVision, is doing this and threw in a little Westview thing. But the Forum is playing Attack of the Fungus movie, which I definitely think is a nod to, I believe Pedro Pascal has a show on HBO right now called Attack of the Fungus. No, it's The Last of Us, where, fungi, zombies. I think they did a little nod to, his HBO show, The Last of Us. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I mean, he does have another show. You're right.
And Dave loves it.
Yeah, it's so good. You should definitely watch it and judge for yourselves.
Yes. You definitely should. I tend to be a little overly positive. Dave may be a little more negative in his reviews. And neither one is right or wrong. It's just how we feel. Like I've said 100 times, if you usually agree with me, then listen to my, review. If you usually agree more with Dave, listen to his. That's why there's, 3 of us on this channel. Only 2 of us tonight. But Doug is in the chat, and I just want to say that he said, I did watch this trailer earlier. It was fine. I wasn't really blown away. My hype level is about a 5 out of 10. Which maybe it's just me, and I love the Fantastic Four so much that I think my hype level jumped up. It's been pretty high, but I think it jumped up to about a 9 out of 10. Just seeing this, seeing Galactus, seeing, Silver Surfer come down and claim that the world is dead, and Franklin being born, all the things that I want to see in a Fantastic Four movie seem to be coming into this. And just the way it all looks. It's very stylistic, very kind of futuristic type, but I think it looks great. I'm excited. What is your hype level, Dave?
My hype level? Probably about a 6. It's I think it was a 5 before. But I didn't know, Galactus. How is he going to eat a planet he's standing on? That's what these are the thoughts I have. But
well, he wouldn't eat while he was still standing on it, but he could. He can just basically, he's done a few things in time. He can stand there and kind of devour the planet, because once the planet's gone, he can just move himself back up to a ship. He doesn't need to. He can be in space without a ship, basically. So, but he's also, one of the things he did in Secret Wars when he was very low on power, he consumed his ship to get more power. So then he could begin to, he wasn't powerful enough to drain the planet, so he drained his ship so that he could then start trying to drain the planet. And of course, Doctor Doom stole his power and became, well, we won't get into that. We'll talk about that more when we talk Secret Wars, but
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You said you couldn't ask for any more. I think the only thing you could have asked more for would be Doctor Doom in this movie.
Yes, but not in a trailer. I do not want to see him in a trailer. But if we're sitting in the theater and there's a post-credit scene and Doctor Doom shows up, I will be very happy. I wanted to see Doctor Doom in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And of course we didn't get that. But Doctor Doom is
a lot of stuff too. So...
But Doctor Doom is the best villain in the Marvel Universe. So I hope two things. I hope they nail him for this, and I hope Robert Downey Jr. doesn't stick around and they get another actor to play him like through the Mutant Saga and beyond. And we see him go up against the Fantastic Four, we see him go up against the Avengers, we see him go up against the X-Men. I want to see it all because he has battled everybody all the time in the Marvel Universe. So I'm excited he's finally going to be here.
I think it might be on a video game, but it keeps popping up in my feed where Doctor Doom is talking to Thanos. Have you seen this?
That's
recently?
AI generated.
Okay.
And that's basically a scene out of Hickman's Secret Wars.
That's what I was going to ask. Was that straight out of the comics?
Yeah.
Because they did a good job with the voices, too. I don't know if they didn't actually call these guys to do it or if they just used AI generated voice for them. It sounded great. But if, Doom can decimate like Thanos like that, he can take on the whole universe.
Yeah, that basically happened in his Secret Wars run. Oh, and Doug said he'll turn into a giant space cloud. Obviously, yes. Please do not ever have him be a space cloud again, like Rise of the Silver Surfer. That was so
good,
so not good. Sorry, once again, Tundra Walker. I know you love those Fantastic Four movies, and there's a lot of good about those too.
Jessica Alba, that's what
the Jessica Alba ones. There's a lot of good there. Chris Evans, all those guys. I thought those movies were much better than the Fan-Four-tastic that came out a few years after. I can't remember how long ago that was. But
saw that the one with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
I don't even think I saw that. Miles Teller was in it too.
You probably shouldn't watch it. They did a terrible job. It was bad. Which is sad because I saw that cat like Kate Mira, Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan. They're all great. And this, obviously, the director, I think it was Josh Trank too, by the way. And it was just, and they've even said after, like, he wouldn't give them much direction and just say, just do this and okay, go. And they would film stuff and be like, is that, yeah, we got it. Or they'd film it like the same scene 30 times in all different ways. And then in the editing process, he would put together, that one was a mess. This one looks to be a lot better than that, so I'm excited. And I would love to see, in a Secret Wars type thing, see some of the old Fantastic Four. Obviously, we saw, Chris Evans, Human Torch, and Deadpool and Wolverine. So, maybe we'll get, I can't think of his name, but all the Mr. Fantastics, Miles Teller, the guy from the first movies, John Krasinski, all showing up. Get it out of the way, bring them all back, give us some nostalgia, and then be done with the multiversal saga and move on from it. I would be all for that.
Yes, please. You're running at a bad time here.
But yeah, this movie, I think we're going to be in for a wonderful July. Superman looks tremendous. Fantastic Four First Steps, I think looks tremendous. Jurassic World Rebirth, we'll probably see that. I'm not looking so forward. It'll make the other movies look much better, probably. But
what's going to happen is we're going to have July, and then after July, we're going to have this big downspoon in movies.
We will. But we're going to get Peacemaker Season 2. We got Eyes of Wakanda, Marvel Zombies. Of course, December is bringing us Wonder Man. So, hype level is going to be off the hook. June, before July, we get Ironheart. I'm hoping they do a good job with that, with the hood and everything. So, a lot coming out. But I do want to switch back to Daredevil Born Again for 1 minute because we had a chat message from a one Douglas McLean. It says, I did a bit late to the party, but I give the season finale episode of Daredevil Born Again an 8 out of 10 and the season overall a 9 out of 10. So yeah, he
Whoa.
similar
The other
to
way around.
No, I think
kind
yeah.
of thought this was the best episode of the season, and
See,
it's rated less than the whole entire season.
Yeah.
That means there had to be a show earlier in the season that he liked more.
I liked episode 8 better than episode 9. I thought episode 8 was tremendous. But there was a lot of great episodes this season too. And once again, I think this last episode's rating could come up depending on how part 2, drops next season. If they absolutely nail the landing, it'll definitely it'll bring up the rating for this episode. Now, we've talked Daredevil Born Again. We've talked Fantastic Four First Steps. But there's something else we're going to talk about tonight. It's Star Wars related.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Star Wars Celebration is going on right now. I believe it started right now. I do believe the Mandalorian and Grogu panel is going on right now. And there has been rumors that we are getting a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer tomorrow during Good Morning America because Pedro Pascal and Sigourney Weaver are on Good Morning America.
Oh, well, if that's not the perfect setup, I don't know what is.
They're both in that movie. I know. We know Pedro's in everything these days, which thank God he is because he's amazing. But it seems like a good time since both of those actors are in The Mandalorian and Grogu to get a trailer. Now, according to rumors and scuttlebutt about that it's dropping tonight at the Star Wars Celebration during the panel that is going on right now. So, talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I'm going to check Twitter because we all love Twitter to see if there's been any postings about it because there's a lot of people at look, a trailer was shown at Star Wars Celebration. Let's see if they actually release it online tomorrow. So they did show it at Star Wars Celebration. Oh, and a new look at Pedro Pascal in The Mandalorian and Grogu, and he's got his helmet off. Looking very boss, if I might say. Pedro Pascal is on stage with Grogu, with Jon Favreau. And sorry we don't have pictures of all this yet, but we see Sigourney Weaver with some bots. Oh my God, she looks like a pilot. She looks like she's got a X-Wing pilot outfit on.
Hera's mom?
Maybe, yeah. That's a good question. Well, she's not Hera's mom because we know Hera's mom is she's not a Twi'lek. And we've met Hera's mom in The Bad Batch.
Ah, yes.
Oh, man, and we see they have another shot of the Mandalorian and Grogu, and he's walking with the Mandalorian. And what's his name from Star Wars Rebels that we met in Season 3? Why can't I think of his name?
If I saw him, I could probably tell you.
Oh, my God, what is his name? He is out of all of the people on Star Wars Rebels, he was the guy who was the new alien species.
Nothing's coming to me.
Oh my! Zeb.
Oh yeah, and Zeb was on Ahsoka, right? Was that Ahsoka?
No, that was Season 3 of The Mandalorian. So it looks like he'll be traveling with Din Djarin on The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I do hope this kind of is building up to whatever Filoni's movie or movies are going to be, kind of finishing off the Mandalorian verse. But I'm hyped for it. I hope we get a trailer tomorrow, even though the movie is more than a year away. I'd be okay with getting some footage. It doesn't have to be a full trailer. If they just get a couple scenes, yeah, we'll be excited. And obviously, if they do come out with it, we will be talking about it next Monday when we talk about The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2 on Monday night, because we have moved to Monday for the remainder of season 1. Let's see if there's anything else that's popping up since this is going on while we're talking. Oh my gosh. Star Wars Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling and directed by Sean Levy, to release on May 28th, 2027.
Whoa.
So
that sounds like another Star Wars thing. It's over 2 years away. They can do anything they want. They can move it. Makes me nervous when they announce it that far ahead.
But they're announcing it. They have a star attached to it, which is good, I think. And Sean Levy, they've been saying he's been attached to a Star Wars movie for a while, and it was getting fast-tracked. So that sounds to me like the script is done. And according to rumors, Miley Mickey was offered a role in this, and she turned it down. I don't know how true that is or not, but, you know, she's coming off an Oscar win, so I think everybody wants her and everything. Another shot of...
By the way, is it Kathleen Kennedy?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, who's making the announcements? Is it Kathleen Kennedy?
She is there. Jon Favreau's there. Dave Filoni is there. Oh, they got more behind-the-scenes stuff with Favreau and the Mandalorian. Inside a ship. Ooh, and a TIE fighter pilot there. That looks pretty cool. And it is coming to theaters May 22nd, 2026. So, yes, like what, 400 days away.
Well, they got plenty of time to make it right. They can make it perfect and not have delays.
It sounds like it's going to be on time because I think filming is now complete. So they'll be doing the editing process and all of that. And hopefully they have plenty of time to, if needed, and all big movies do this, have some reshoots to, you know, fix a few things and plug a few holes if they need to. But yeah.
For instance, the Daredevil Born Again season had a lot of reshoots, but they were all for the better.
Well, they had a complete creative overhaul, yes. So thankfully they did.
So they're not always bad. Not like Madam Web.
So Star Wars Starfighter, the Sean Levy, Ryan Gosling film, will be a standalone film that takes place 5 years after the events of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know what that is. And production begins this fall. I never saw Episode 9. They made Episode 9?
Like fan fiction or something?
Oh, huh. That's okay. Well, whatever that means. You know what? I'm hyped for it. Sean Levy has made a lot of excellent films. Deadpool and Wolverine. The what?
He did one of the Iron Man movies, didn't he? Or was that Shane? That was Shane Black.
Yeah, that was Shane Black. But he did some Stranger Things stuff, which I enjoyed. He's got a good track record. So the fact that they're fast tracking this and it goes into production this fall sounds like they've gotten the script down and everything else.
I feel like Sean Levy was involved in Deadpool. Yeah, and you said that.
Well, he directed Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, and Free Guy.
Yeah, and Free Guy, yep.
There's a lot of, Ryan Reynolds movies.
Yep. Maybe that means Ryan Reynolds, is joining the Star Wars universe.
That'd be cool if he had a cameo.
You know, I bet he will.
Type stuff.
Yeah, if he doesn't have a role in it, that would be nice. Okay, and according to this, a new Star Wars trilogy is confirmed to be in the works from Simon Kinberg, who brought us X-Men: The Last Stand, Dark Phoenix. So, yeah, I'm hyped for Starfighter. That sounds good from Sean Levy. But then it also says new films from James Mangold, which is the Dawn of the Jedi that we've heard about. I'm excited for that. It says Taika Waititi and Sharman Oben-Chini are still in the works. And
I'm kind of faith in that guy.
yeah, no, Thor: Love and Thunder was, well, it had some good moments with Christian Bale. It could have been that movie. Gore the God Butcher in a Thor movie should have been epic and beyond nuts. And I don't know, the tone was all over the place for that movie. So
Yeah, I read that Christian Bale was like so detached from the rest of the cast that he could only do his intense scenes, and when he had to film with somebody else, he didn't have a flow to it.
yeah, and it that came through in the final film, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's see, anything else we got here? Oh, Ahsoka season 2 filming. Yeah, it looks to be about it. But that's a lot. Hopefully, hopefully we get the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer tomorrow morning during Good Morning America. Looking forward to Starfighter, Star Wars Starfighter. They could have a video game come out during it too, where you pilot a ship. Interesting. If that's what this movie's about.
No, it's not. It's about a guy who puts out fires in space.
It's a guy named Starfighter.
Yeah, he always has water with him for some reason.
It's crazy. What the heck's going on here? But yeah, a lot of good stuff. The Simon Canberg trilogy. You're gonna have to convince me for that, but. Oh, and
we're gonna.
Kevin Davis says Kathleen Kennedy isn't going anywhere at all.
Hopefully you're wrong, sir. I just hope you're wrong.
Reports of her demise has been exaggerated for the last 10 years. Personally, I think she should go, but only because, they announce so much stuff, and then so many things get canceled, and so many, it's fine to have a ton of things in production. And maybe that was a Disney thing that was telling them, you've got to announce all these projects, because Marvel was doing it too. And I think they've scaled back. You don't need to announce your plans for the next 12 years. If you have plans and it's all going to happen, maybe you can kind of hint at it. But hopefully they're learning, because too many projects have been announced that never happened. And now things have been announced at Marvel and DC that have never happened, but not at the same rate that it has at Star Wars. It's like so many things are announced and so many people walk away from projects. And even with Solo, the directors left mid-filming and they had Ron Howard come in and finish it up. And while I enjoyed Solo, it probably would have been a better movie if Ron Howard had just perhaps did it the whole time. Or it could have even been good. I can't remember the directors' names that started it. It might have been pretty entertaining, their version of it too, but when you have one director start and one director finish, doesn't usually turn out great. We've seen that with Solo, which, don't get me wrong, is good, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was great, though. And Justice League, yeah. So, craziness is abound. We got any more comments anywhere? Nope, doesn't look like it. Should we find somebody to raid, good sir?
We should. We've got Graduating, Tiny Volker, and TG.
Yeah, TG's probably jumping.
45.
Oh, yeah.
TG's.
Oh, my God, he's playing Super NES games.
Are you sure we didn't just get rated, sir?
We did not get rated.
I saw we had 35 people watching, and then it went away as soon as I looked at it.
Oh, no, we did not get rated. But we did get a first-time chatter from Dubious XDH 1Jog 9B Flimp. Cheap viewers on SteamBoo Space.com. Remove the space. Oh, good. Thank you. for that advice. But once again, as we say all the time, we don't want cheap viewers. We only want the finest in viewers. But thank you for that, whatever that extremely long name is. We're good without it. But yes, we did not get rated. It would show up in my little Steam, my little activity feed up here. So unfortunately, we did not. But hopefully, we had 35 people on. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be
Not
excited
against
about
that. So who should we? McCaw 45 graduating. Tiny Valker.
TG's still playing, so if we could do that. Looks like mid-game.
Yeah. Never a bad thing to raid TG.
He's always top choice in my book.
No, me too. He's a great guy. So, everybody, thanks for coming out. Like we said earlier, we'll be back Monday talking about The Last of Us and all of the information that we didn't talk about tonight, and maybe even some of the stuff we talked about tonight, with a little more time to think through our thoughts on all of it from Star Wars Celebration this weekend. Hopefully, we get a Mandalorian and Grogu footage that they were shown at Star Wars Celebration tonight. But we're going to be rating TG. For those of you on YouTube, that is something we do on Twitch, where we send our viewers to another content creator that we like, sharing the joy. So, TG, Terrible Gamer, is also on YouTube. So if you see him there, give him a follow, watch his videos. He's an incredibly excellent content creator. But we're about to raid him, and we will see you guys. Oh, and if you're on YouTube and you're still watching, please like, subscribe, comment, all the things that will help us out tremendously as a small channel and cost you nothing. So thank you so much. We will see you guys Monday night.
Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.